and welcome to GreyNoise University. I'm Brad Chiappetta, and this module is part of our GreyNoise Product Overview training series. In this module, we will be covering the GreyNoise RIOT dataset and what the different trust levels assigned to an IP address in the dataset mean. The GreyNoise RIOT dataset is a curated list of IP addresses that are parsed directly from source vendors and turned into an IP lookup service. The IPs included in RIOT are reparsed every 4 hours to ensure that the most recent updates from all vendors are included. This can mean that an IP you look up at 12 p.m. may no longer be in RIOT at 4 p.m. if that IP address is removed from the source vendor. Additionally, RIOT is only available as an IP lookup service and is not queryable on other values such as provider, unlike the noise dataset. In addition to the vendor information included in each IP address, the service also includes what is called a trust level. This is not a classification of what this IP address is doing, but is an indicator to help identify how likely an analyst is to trust the behavior of this IP address. Let's start by looking at a trust level 1 IP. By using the GreyNoise visualizer, I can start by entering an IP address that I would like to have more information about. Once I've searched that IP address, if it is exclusively within the RIOT dataset, the visualizer will take me to an IP details page that looks like this. You can see this page outlines the provider and category for this IP address. You can also see that the IP address is given a trust level of 1. The trust level 1 tag includes the description of reasonably ignore. This is because this IP address is not only owned and operated by this vendor, but they are also responsible for the content that this IP address provides. So, in most cases, you can ignore any traffic associated with this IP address. As a caveat, if the source vendor has some sort of compromise, the IP address could be doing something outside of the expected behavior. Now, let's take a look at an IP address that is of trust level 2. The trust level 2 tag includes the description of commonly seen. This is because this IP and service are likely seen with a high frequency level given how often they are used. Additionally, while the vendor is responsible for the service, they are not responsible for the content served by this service. A prime example of this would be a CDN, since it allows multiple entities to serve content from the same geographically distributed IP for optimal network performance. The trust level 2 designation can be used to identify but not necessarily trust an IP address as part of this particular business service. Additionally, in most cases, blocking an IP address with a TL2 would not be advisable, as it could break that service. Using the CDN IP address as an example, while it is possible that the CDN could deliver malicious content, blocking an individual IP address is not the correct way to remediate this threat. And since those IP addresses are rotated regularly, it will more than likely impact the use of that CDN in the future. Ideally, blocking CDN content would be done via whatever method is used for blocking other web content. Since RIOT IPs can be used in a variety of ways, it is also possible for an IP address to be part of the noise dataset. In this example, you can see that this IP address is tagged with both a RIOT trust level and a noise classification. When analyzing an IP address that is part of both datasets, it is important to assess the data completely and not decide on the nature of the indicator using the data provided by RIOT or noise independently. This concludes this training module. If you have any questions on the topics covered, please reach out to support@greynoise.io.